Times are getting a little uncertain, and like me, you're probably thinking about prepping and self-reliance a lot more these days. One of the biggest hurdles folks come up against when it comes to preparedness is the cost. Building a good stockpile can seem daunting, but it doesn't have to break the bank. That's why in this video we're going to cover 3 essential shopping tips that can save you money while you build up your preps. These tips are all about being resourceful and making your dollars stretch further. Preparedness is a marathon, not a sprint. It's not about buying everything at once, but rather making smart choices over time to gradually build a solid foundation for yourself and your loved ones. So let's dive in and see how you can become a more savvy prepper shopper. Let's talk about the humble grocery store flyer. This little piece of paper can be your secret weapon when it comes to saving money on preps. Most people just glance at it and toss it aside, but not you. No sir, not anymore. We're gonna learn to read this like a treasure map. First things first, don't just look at the front page. Flip through that flyer front to back and really study the deals. Circle the items that are genuinely good deals on things you actually use and rotate into your stockpile. Now here's the key. Pay attention to the sale cycles. You'll start to notice patterns. Maybe canned goods go on sale every other month, or rice and beans get discounted around certain holidays. Knowing these cycles helps you plan your purchases and avoid paying full price. And don't forget about those coupons. Clip them, print them, download them, whatever it takes. Combine those coupons with sale prices, and you're talking about serious savings. Those little bits add up over time. Another thing to watch for is buy one, get one free offers, or BOGO as they're sometimes called. This is a great way to double your stockpile without doubling your spending. Stock up when you can, especially on items with a long shelf life. Now I know what you're thinking. Dave, this seems like a lot of work. And yeah, it takes a little effort. But the satisfaction of knowing you're getting the best possible price on your preps, that's worth its weight in gold. Plus, the money you save, well, that's money you can put towards other important aspects of your preparedness, like first aid supplies, water filtration, or even just putting a little extra fuel in the tank. Prepping is all about being resourceful and making the most of what you have. And that starts with being a savvy shopper. So, embrace the grocery store flyer, my friends, and watch your savings grow. One more thing before we move on. Don't be afraid to check out different grocery stores in your area. Sometimes one store will have a much better deal on a particular item than another. A little legwork can go a long way. Alright, now that we've covered the ins and outs of grocery store savings, let's move on to another goldmine for preppers, the clearance aisle. Stay tuned, folks, because this is where things get really interesting. Now we're heading into the belly of the beast, the clearance aisle. This, my friends, is where legends are made and incredible deals are found. You gotta approach this aisle with a sense of adventure, a keen eye, and a little bit of patience. See, the clearance aisle is where stores try to get rid of surplus inventory, discontinued items, or products with slightly damaged packaging. And for preppers, this is like striking gold. You can find everything from camping gear to tools to kitchen supplies, all at a fraction of the original price. The first rule of clearance shopping is, don't be afraid to dig. Don't just glance at what's on the shelves at eye level. Get in there, move things around, and really explore. You never know what treasures you might unearth in the back. Next, check for quality. Just because something is on clearance doesn't mean it's automatically a good deal. Inspect items carefully for any damage or defects. Now, I'm not talking about a little dent in a box. I'm talking about something that would actually affect the functionality of the item. If you're looking at something with a lot of small parts like a camp stove or a tool kit, make sure all the pieces are there. Most stores will let you open the package and double check before you buy, especially if it's a clearance item. It's always better to be safe than sorry. Now let's talk about price. Just because it says clearance doesn't mean it's the lowest price it's ever going to be. Sometimes you gotta haggle a little. Don't be afraid to ask a store employee if they can go any lower, especially if the item has been sitting on the shelf for a while. Here's a little insider tip. Look for items with price tags that end in a 7 or a 4. This often indicates that the item has been marked down multiple times and is at its lowest price. The clearance aisle is a constantly changing landscape, so it's important to check it frequently. What's not there one week might be there the next. Make it a habit to swing by the clearance section every time you're at the store, and don't limit yourself to just one store. Different stores have different clearance schedules and policies. Hit up those big box stores, discount retailers, and even your local hardware store. You'll be amazed at what you can find when you start looking. The clearance aisle is a prepper's paradise, but it's not for the faint of heart. It takes dedication, persistence, and a little bit of luck, but trust me, the rewards are well worth the effort. You'll save money, find some unique treasures, and maybe even have a little fun along the way. Now, before we move on to our final tip, remember that the key to successful clearance shopping is patience. Don't get discouraged if you don't find what you're looking for right away. Keep at it, and eventually you'll score big. Now let's talk about a skill that can really set you apart as a prepper spotting shortages before they happen. This ain't about being paranoid, it's about being observant and using your noggin. See, supply chains ain't perfect. Things happen. Weather events, political unrest, economic downturns, all these things can disrupt the flow of goods and lead to shortages. And when folks panic, well, that's when things get really crazy. But you're going to be ahead of the game. You're going to be the one who saw it coming and was prepared. How? By paying attention to what's happening in the world and in your own backyard. Start by keeping an eye on the news. But don't just rely on mainstream media. Look for independent sources, online forums, and even social media groups dedicated to prepping and survivalism. These folks are often the first to pick up on trends and potential disruptions. Next, pay attention to what's happening in your local area. Are there any factories or businesses shutting down? Have there been any major weather events or natural disasters? These events can have a ripple effect on the local economy and lead to shortages of essential goods. Now, I'm not saying you need to become a news junkie or a conspiracy theorist. Just be aware of what's going on around you and use that information to inform your prepping decisions. Here's another tip. Pay attention to price increases. If you notice that the price of a particular item is steadily creeping up, it could be a sign that a shortage is on the horizon. This is especially true for essential items like food, water, and fuel. When you do spot a potential shortage, don't panic. Panic buying only makes the situation worse. Instead, take a deep breath and assess your current stockpile. Do you have enough of that item to last you for a reasonable amount of time? If not, consider gradually stocking up over the next few weeks or months, and don't forget about alternative options. If there's a shortage of your preferred brand of coffee, for example, are there other brands you'd be willing to drink? Being flexible and adaptable is key in a prepping situation. Spotting shortages before they happen is all about being informed, observant, and proactive. It's about taking control of your own preparedness and ensuring that you and your loved ones are well equipped to weather any storm. Remember, knowledge is power. The more you know about potential threats and disruptions, the better prepared you'll be to face them head on. So keep your eyes and ears open, trust your gut, and always be prepared to adapt to changing circumstances. So there you have it, folks. 3 essential shopping tips that can help you save money and build a solid stockpile without breaking the bank. Remember, prepping is all about being resourceful, making smart choices, and planning for the unexpected. It's not about living in fear, but rather about taking control of your own destiny and ensuring that you and your loved ones are prepared for whatever life throws your way. What do you do when you go to the store to stock up? Share your tips in the comments below. Thank you for watching.